moving on. If they never have chicken, if they have nothing else at a restaurant, there will always be pork. If they have nothing at the butcher, there will always be pork in Cuba. And I feel like that's one of the main things that people will always tell you when you tell them, like, oh, I'm going to Cuba, oh, I'm studying Cuba. They're like, oh, there's a lot of pork everywhere that you go for food. Pork is on the main menu and they will always have pork. If they have nothing else, they always have pork. If you don't eat pork, like a lot of my SDA friends who study there, they won't always have chicken. And sometimes they don't even have the vegetables that they're reporting on the menu. So prepare for that. Sometimes you might just go and get a soda and cut. Which follows into my next point. Not everything that you see on the menu is available. And I don't mean like when you're here in a, what's a sensible country? That's me. I don't mean like when you're in a country like, or if you're home like in Jamaica, or if you go to the US and, you know, for example, when you go to a restaurant, lobster is seasonal. Things like that. No, like you'll go and they'll say, oh, yo, they have chicken fajitas, or they have fajitas mixtas, or they have I'm trying to think of something that uses like chicken breast, empanada de pollo, or Gordon Bleu. And you'll say, oh, can I get a Gordon Bleu, can I get an empanada de pollo? And those are things that use chicken breast specifically. They will usually tell you that they don't have it. It's on the menu and everything, but it's not available. And the reason for that is, as I've said before, you don't always get things, or you're not always able to find things in the supermarket. So chicken breast, and you're like, but if you buy the chicken, why you can't just cut up chicken breast now? Sometimes there's packages where chicken breast alone is in there. That's usually imported stuff with everything that's going on now. Definitely now, you'd find that they'll be like, we don't have that, we don't have this. There's chicken breast packages, sometimes there's leg quarters, and sometimes then the people them just don't have it. It's not people at the restaurant fault. It gets very frustrating, trust me, especially if it's something that you've been feeling for and that's all you want there. But remember, there's always pork. So if you love pork, this really might be the country for you. The gas runs under the streets, like, so for example, in Jamaica, most people have gas tanks. So you go out and you buy a gas and you hook it up to the stove and that's your gas. Some places in Cuba, some houses, they do that. Like my first year, the house that I lived in my first year, it was the gas canister. Other places, like where I live now, the community that I live in now, once I moved, the gas flows underneath the street. So how it actually works, when the gas is finished, I usually text my land people. They'll come to the house, they'll press a button that's somewhere, I don't know where it is, I need to know so I can stop texting them. But they'll come to the house, they'll press a button, and then the gas will like roll over onto the next thing. Gas isn't expensive. Like, I don't pay for gas where I live. The land people pay for it. I don't pay for water either. I just pay my light bill. But some places will make you pay water and light. But the gas isn't expensive like that because it flows under the streets, I feel like. But what that means is that if your gas is gone, somebody who lives close to you, the likelihood is that their gas gone too. So like if you live on this street and your gas gone, the people who live on the next street adjacent to you, their gas is gone. So like everyone's gas is gone. Sometimes it will flow all the way down to like 3 or 5 streets down. And restaurants will be there. You might call in for food when you're hungry because there's no gas at your house, and they'll say, oh, well, it's gonna take longer because we have an electric stove since the gas is gone. Some places it really be like that. People are really friendly. And this is something I've seen a lot of people talk about. So people are really friendly. Sometimes you'll encounter a random person or Cuban, most of the time on the street, and they'll be eating something and you ask them like, oh, where did you get that from? Let's say pizza. And they'll be like, oh, where did you get that from? And they'll be like, oh, I got it from here. And they'll literally go and break off piece of the pizza to give you. And this is like street pizza, not like pizza that comes like in a box. Like you could buy mini street pizzas and they'll be having it in like a piece of paper and eating it. And they'll just break it off and give you. They really be that friendly sometimes. Sometimes it's works to the detriment. I have a friend who was on the bus going about his business one time and he had water like at the side of his backpack. And the man like asked him for water. My friend's Jamaican. The man like asked him, yo, can I have some water? And he was like, no. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, why won't give me the water? And a full argument and everything started. The man took the water from out of my friend's bag and started drinking the water and went to give it back to my friend. And my friend was like, nah, fam, keep the water. This is really, listen, I know y'all think people can't make these things up. These really be the things that sometimes we experience. As international students, you'll have stories for days. This is an important one, especially if you're new. There's a type of religion that they have that originates from some parts in Africa, they always say. And the thing with it is that they sacrifice animals. The people who follow this religion usually wear white from like head to toe. They'll cover their head and then in full white. You usually see them on the road and thing. And they sacrifice animals. Usually it's chickens. One time I saw a turtle and that disturbed my soul. So the chickens will probably be like tied up to a tree and thing. So if you're walking and then you start to smell like something is dead, you could usually look around and it will be like on a tree or at the foot of a tree or thing, and there's like some dead thing there, some animal, and you just know it was a sacrifice. I've been in the park a couple times and like people come in to sacrifice their animals, and it'll be like a group, and I just see that once you see them gathered on the tree, I just get up and go home because race Pentecostal, we don't play with that. One time I moved somewhere and my neighbors are someone who lived close enough. Anyway, I could hear them when they're doing their whole thing and it creeped me out, and I moved back to where I lived before because we don't play with them things. To this day, I haven't told my mom that's where I moved because I just know how it would go down. I'm telling you this so that it's not that shocking. You'll literally be walking and you see like a chicken hanging from it, like a phone line or something. This happens. If you're black, they'll usually assume that you're from Africa. So if you're from another Caribbean country, like we're all Jamaicans, once you are black in your skin tone, you're usually African to them. Sometimes it works to your advantage. Like if you steal someone's taxi and they call you Angolan, then you just leave it so. This next one, I've personally been a victim of this, so I can definitely attest to this. I should tell the story one day. Do not put your purse or your wallet in your bag on the bus. If you do put your purse and or wallet in your bag on the bus, do not put said bag behind you, especially if the bus pack. And that's something that's very frequent in Cuba. Will be packed like sardines, like you're on slave ship. And it's just so, if you want to reach where you're going, you have to get on the bus and go, especially the buses to come from school. Because everybody's trying to get home. Don't put the bag on your back. Take it off and keep it in front of you. Even if the place packed, keep the bag in front of you. You can see if somebody's going in your bag if it's in front of you. I've personally been a victim of this. They stole my Kate Spade purse. I love that purse more than anything. I bought that purse for myself, $60 US, and they took the purse. You know how much money was inside? 13 cook. Literally, I was so mad. I didn't even realize until like way in the evening that I had been robbed. I didn't feel anything. They went in my bag, they took out my purse, and they closed my bag back. I remember the day well. I had my laptop in my bag, and that's why I didn't feel anything. And I know from experience, well, not from experience at that time, but I know I shouldn't have put my bag on my back. But it was too packed. I was trying to get on the bus and I was just like, no gonna happen. I was wrong. Honestly, I just wanted my purse back. They took my cards, well, not the card I could use at the ATM, but they took my cards. The money, they didn't even did that deep. Like, I care more about the purse than the rest of the stuff. The rest of the stuff could have been replaced. They discontinued that purse line. And then Kate Spade died like the year after. So mad, fam. This one, I don't want to call a certain company because I don't know nobody sue me. But if you're traveling from Jamaica to go to Cuba, there's 2 airlines that you should not go on. If you value comfort, the one that they probably go recommend to you, that ends in OTA. Don't go on that. That's basically a flying bus here and it's hard. Don't go on it. And the next one, how do I describe this? that ends in Caribbean. So not Caribbean Airlines. I don't think Caribbean, they said that they were going to start a flight plan to Cuba. I haven't traveled on them yet, but there's a next one that ends in Caribbean. Don't go on that one either. That one was worse than the one that ends in OTA. Like literally, I don't even know what to say. That those aren't even flight seats. Those are no plane seat. Like, don't go on the plane. I recommend Cayman Airways. It's a big price here, but honestly, I recommend them. And just pay the extra money to be in first class. You get 3 free suitcases, like just one time. It just makes sense, especially if you're going up for the first time. You're going to need a lot of supplies. Just pay that, enjoy first class for the first time in your life, and just go about your business. Just so the planes that go there usually suck, unless you're coming from like the US or Canada or places that have variety planes, or even like Mexico or so. But if you're traveling from Jamaica, don't go on those 2 airlines. Another thing to note is that I'm gonna say 2 things. So if you are sick, you need a prescription to get drugs, like any drugs. So you have to go to the doctor and you need a prescription. That's fine. The drugs don't really work in Cuba. They aren't as strong, and the reason for that is that I guess they don't want people to get addicted and thing. The control of the drugs are like really restricted. So I guess they don't want people to become addicted and whatever. That's fine. That's cool. My issue is the drugs don't work. I remember in my first year I got a heat rash from walking in the sun all the time, the type of bra that I was wearing, and then I got a heat rash underneath my boob. I went to the doctor, they prescribed the medicine. I went and I got the cream. The cream never worked. It was when I came down to Jamaica and went to the dermatologist down here. She gave me a cream. It cleared up within days. The drugs aren't really that strong, but the hospitals and the doctors, it's efficient. So once you go and talk and be like, yo, XYZ, you don't have to wait long to get seen or anything. Like, if you need medicine and they have it there where it's like something that would be injected into you, they'll do it same time. That's good. I'll say that about them. And the last thing that is a random thing to note about Cuba is that abortion is legal. I'm not completely sure like how it applies to international students, if you can go there and go get an abortion. But as a Cuban citizen thing, if you want that choice, like, they're pro-choice. So you can go and do any fiddle and be like, yo, I don't want this no more. That's so insensitive. I would not like to continue this journey on this position in my life. Can we do something about it? And they'll usually help you. I don't know. I should probably read like my insurance to see if it's like included in ours, because female insurance is a lot more expensive than male insurance for the students. So I wonder if that's why. That's because we can get pregnant as females. We are able to get pregnant. So I don't know if that's why. Anyway. That's the last thing. These are all the random things that I thought would be cute to know about living in Cuba, a little rant that went on. Let me know if you guys would like the story about the time I got robbed on the bus. They pickpocketed me and my favorite purse was gone. I'm gonna tell you about that entire day, because oh, was I mad. Let me know if you guys would like to hear about that. Tell me in the comments down below. Please like this video. Guys, this is really long. I hope when I edit it, it's not this long, but my friends say I'm not pushing my channel enough, so I guess I'm going to start doing this. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and being a part of said audience that's here and being a part of our little family. I know that all of you all aren't like actual friends in real life, because I don't have 60 something close friends, but probably most of you I've encountered at some point or some period of some life. There's some NCU people here, there's some people from wherever, and then there's random internet people here, which hi. But I'm trying to grow my channel. So if you are new here and you have not yet hit the subscribe button, please subscribe. I promise that I'm trying to be more consistent and thing with the content that I put out. Sometimes my content is really fun. Sometimes my content is not for everyone. We do vlogs, we do sit down conversation talks, we do story times about things that have happened to me, both in Cuba and in Jamaica. And sometimes we go on rants, which I have a rant coming up about Taxi One. But If you do like the content that you saw in this video or in another video, please subscribe. I promise there will be more. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Share this video if you enjoyed it and tell them to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.